Hi there, my name is Alex Williams. I am an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, and today I'm going to be talking to you about transitioning across the work-life boundary. So, much of what the literature says about coming back to work or psychologically reattaching to work tells us if we want to effectively have a productive morning, the way to go about that is to more or less mentally re-engage with work by remembering where we left off. And that means tracking the things that we do during our workday and making sure that we come back to work, we know exactly where to pick up. Now, in contrast to that, much of us struggle, especially among the pandemic, with detaching from work psychologically. So the task of mentally disengaging from work, according to occupational health psychology, is best achieved by being mindful about the feelings that you have related to the work that you're doing. So, several years ago at Microsoft, I had the opportunity to develop a new prototype system named Switchbot, where we designed a new assistant designed specifically for the work-home transition. So the idea was people start at home and they go through a reattachment sub-dialogue shortly before entering the workplace. And the idea here is we engage people in one of two dialogues. The first is focused on a task-centric dialogue specifically designed to help them re-engage with work mentally. So here we would ask people, or our assistant would ask people, what do you want to work on? Followed by what's the first step of working on that task? Second, we had an emotion-centric side where this assistant would ask them, how do you want to feel about work today? And what's the first step you could take in feeling that way? And after answering these questions, they would be mentally, or at least hopefully mentally re-engaged with their work. Now, in contrast, we also had within Switchbot's design, a dialogue designed for the end of the workday. So this is something that people could engage with as soon as they're about to leave work, whether that be walking out of the office or just preparing to wrap up for the day. And on this side of the dialogue, we had a task-centric dialogue that was focused on very much so productivity and wrapping up. In other words, what did you work on today? And what do you want to work on tomorrow? And in contrast, we had a paired emotion side dialogue that also asked, how do you want to feel about work today? Or rather, how do you feel about work today? And how do you want to feel about work tomorrow? And this gave us Switchbot, an assistant for the work-home transition. So in a 2-week field study with Switchbot, we deployed it to folks at Microsoft and found that with Switchbot, people achieved sending a reduced number of after-hour emails. They also felt significantly more detached when discussing their emotions, and they also felt significantly more reattached in the morning when they were discussing their emotions. In addition, we also found that people were more productive, more engaged, but also less relaxed when coming back to work in the morning. So some practical tips for what we learned from Switchbot. First and foremost, we learned that it helps to be mindful, not only about the tasks that you have in front of you, but the emotions that are tied to the work that you're doing. And that can be achieved whether it be through simple note-taking and a piece of paper in front of you, or through something like Microsoft's virtual commute feature that's built into Microsoft Teams today. The second thing is you can develop rituals that actually help you build boundaries between work and non-work, such as, for me, that was hiking during my summers at Microsoft. And then finally, enacting those rituals such that you can build boundaries that help you better understand where work is and isn't. And that's all. Thank you.